Those who refuse to face their own darkness are slaves to it, controlled by forces they refuse to acknowledge. They hide from their own depths, living in fear of what might surface if they let down their guard. But that darkness, that unknown within, will never go away. It only grows stronger in the shadows, waiting for the moment when it will seize control. To face it, to make it conscious, is the only way to gain mastery over it. To ignore it is to live as its puppet, forever at the mercy of the parts of yourself you refuse to confront. Enlightenment is not about becoming something pure. It is about becoming whole. It is not about ridding yourself of darkness, but about integrating it, understanding it, wielding it. Those who embrace only the light are incomplete, weak, divided against themselves, but those who make the darkness conscious are something else entirely. They are forces of nature, unbreakable because they have mastered the most dangerous parts of themselves. The darkness is not an enemy to be vanquished, it is a source of power waiting to be claimed. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, by hiding behind ideals that are too fragile to withstand reality. Enlightenment requires descending into the depths of the soul, confronting every part of yourself that you have tried to forget. It is a journey into the unknown within, a plunge into the void, where every fear, every regret, every desire waits. Those who fear the unknown within will never be free, because they are always hiding from themselves. But those who conquer that fear, who make the darkness conscious, become something that the light can never touch. To conquer the fear of the unknown is to understand that the unknown is not out there. It is within. And only those who have the strength to descend into that inner darkness, to confront it, to master it, can ever hope to rise above it. You need to experiment in the darkness. The unknown holds vast potential, the untapped depths where power waits for those who dare to reach into the void.
Please take this short break from your video to support our channel by getting yourself merch. Enjoy the rest of the video.
The darkness is not empty. It is brimming with possibility, waiting for those with the courage to experiment, to push beyond the comfortable light and discover what lies on the other side. To remain within the bounds of what is known is to stay stagnant, to live a life of hollow routine, bound by the same constraints that keep the weak from greatness. But the darkness is an endless sea of possibility for those who have the will to dive in. Every experiment, every attempt in the darkness is a step toward unlocking something powerful, something that feeds your frenzy. Greatness is not stumbled upon. It is carved out, pulled from the depths through relentless pursuit. Experimentation is not a mere exercise. It is the process by which you transform yourself, bit by bit, mistake by mistake, until you become something that others cannot fathom. Each failure in the darkness is not an end, but a key, unlocking the doors to greater understanding, to strength beyond what the world believes possible. Those who hesitate, who fear to experiment in the dark, will always be bound by the chains of mediocrity. Do not waste a single hour. To say you lack time is to admit defeat before the battle has even begun. You have the same hours as those who shaped the world, as those who reached into the darkness and emerged as legends. Helen Keller, Pasteur, Michelangelo, Mother Teresa, Leonardo da Vinci, Thomas Jefferson, Albert Einstein. They faced the same constraints, the same limitations of time, but they understood that the hours given were not barriers, but tools. Each hour is an opportunity to experiment, to dive into the unknown and find the threads that will weave greatness into the fabric of your life. Time is not what limits you. Fear is. The darkness is vast, but your willingness to experiment is what determines how far you can go within it. To say you lack time is to allow the fear of the unknown to control you, to keep you bound to the comforts of the known. Those who truly seek greatness know that each second wasted on excuses, on hesitations, is a second handed over to the weak. The dark holds everything, but only for those who are willing to explore it without restriction, without reservation. The darkness does not reveal its potential easily. It requires sacrifice, relentless effort, the willingness to try, fail, and try again. Each hour is an investment, each experiment a gamble where the reward is something far greater than safety or comfort. Greatness feeds on risk, on the willingness to push boundaries, to experiment with what others fear to touch. You must delve deeper, work harder, not because you seek the approval of others, but because you are driven by something insatiable, a frenzy that cannot be sated by the ordinary. Those who changed the world did not wait for the light to show them the way. They made the darkness their ally, their laboratory, a place where they were free to experiment without constraint. They broke boundaries because they understood that only in the unknown, in the depths where others feared to tread, could they find the raw material to build their legacy. Each hour they spent was not an obligation. It was a tool they wielded with precision, carving their path through the darkness with unyielding force. You are given the same hours, the same capacity to reach into the dark and shape your destiny. But you must make the choice to experiment, to act, to push yourself beyond what is comfortable. To conquer the darkness is not to understand it completely, but to master it, to use it as a forge in which you craft your purpose, your power. To waste those hours is to let potential slip through your hands, to surrender to the darkness without ever claiming its gifts. Experiment in the darkness, and you will find something that feeds the fire within, something that ignites a frenzy beyond what the world has ever seen. Do not fear the unknown. It is there that you will find what makes you unstoppable. Conquer the fear of the unknown, for it is only there, in that void, that you will find the power to remake yourself entirely. If you tell the truth about yourself, it becomes a part of your past, a weight cast off, a chain shattered. The moment you face what you are, what you have allowed yourself to become, you release yourself from the endless cycle of deception. But lie, and that lie becomes woven into the fabric of your future, lurking around every corner, tightening its grip until it binds you completely. A lie is not a simple evasion, it is a poison, a silent thief of every ambition, every moment of potential, corrupting each step forward. To lie is to surrender your future to something hollow, something weak. Owning your current miserable state is not a defeat. It's a declaration of war against everything holding you back. Most avoid facing themselves, constructing intricate lies, fortresses of falsehood to shield themselves from the harshness of reality. But each lie is another layer of weakness, another link in the chain that binds them to mediocrity. They fear what they might see if they look too closely, so they run, layering one deception over another, trying to outrun the inevitable reckoning with themselves. But you know better. You know that power lies not in hiding from the dark corners of your mind, but in exposing them to the cold light of recognition. To tell yourself the truth, to confront your own miserable reality, is to seize control. It is to claim responsibility over the life you have shaped, the weaknesses you have allowed to grow, the failures that have defined you. To own that reality is to end its control over you, to transform it from a prison into a foundation. Only those who dare to confront their failures, their darkness, can ever hope to escape it. It is only by owning who you are now in all your imperfection that you can carve a path to something greater.